Good morning, campers. We're back here at Shangri, right here at the entranceway. We have our beautiful bell that Mr. Stark, he collected, like the petrified wood. He also collected old bells like this, and we're going to see some of those today. In your bag today, there's three things to glue into your journal. One thing is a scavenger hunt, and then we have a haiku hike and leaf anatomy. So what I did was I went ahead and taped those in so that whenever we go on our hike and we need these things, they're already taped in and ready to go. The other thing that you'll find in your bag is a little thing of yarn, and we're going to do a square foot examination of our yard, or just in an area that you want to find. So Wanda and I are ready to go on a hike. Are you ready?
Campers, we know how hot it is in Texas, so we want to make sure that you're drinking plenty of water. So if you're out in the sun, try and remember that. And always carry your water with you. What we're going to do now is an observation. So all you need is a place to mark it off. It can be a square foot, or it can be a little bit longer. I'm actually going to measure mine this way and do mine in this little area. The reason I chose our water demonstration garden was because there is a lot of life. Water is needed by every animal and plant. When you measure your area to observe, it's easier to use this little piece of yarn and kind of confine it to a smaller area. You can even make a loop if you want to. My area is in our water demonstration garden because everything needs lots of water, and life and water kind of are synonymous. They go together. So I've got my journal, I've got my loop to look at things, and what I'm going to do today is simply observe and list different things. Wow. This place is teeming with life. In this tiny little area that I just observed for a few minutes, this is similar to what my actual journal page looks like. July 7th, 2020, Water Demonstration Garden is the location. It's very hot and muggy and very bright sunshine out right now. In my observation area, I saw tadpoles, snails, salvinia,
rush, dollarweed, alligator weed, a dragonfly zipped by. There were 4 ants crawling around, and another one came in. Duckweed, yellow flower. There were 2 bees, some water cannons, some butterflies, a couple of them flew in diagonal fans, Texas star, hibiscus, and some sea moss.
So be sure and study your area and make a list of some of the wonders that are moving around.
Hey campers, we're doing the 12-inch square. So I picked this area here, and I'm going to go all the way around here. I like this area because it looks like it's been invaded by some armadillos. So I like this area here. One of the things that you want to do is use your use a stick, or you can use something maybe wear gloves whenever you're lifting up this is some leaf litter here. When you're writing the things that you did in your journal, the things that you see, make a sketch. Go ahead and draw some of the things that you see as well. Right here I see an acorn that's been chewed maybe by a squirrel or an armadillo. Then I also see some older leaves. There's a roly-poly. So there's all kinds of good things that you can write in your journal. Now change it up too. You may want to go in your backyard, just in a grassy area, and pull the grass back just a little bit so that you can see all the critters that are in there. And there will be a lot.
Nisi had you put some things in your journal, like this, and also this little diagram that I drew off. And hopefully you put it in like this so that you can look at both sides. Leaves are, the variety of nature is unbelievable. So sometimes it's really difficult to label or, categorize different things. So it says leaf anatomy, and it has a broadleaf right here, not a needle like you find on a pine, but on this broadleaf, the parts of the leaf actually have a name. This main part going right through it is called a midrib. The whole thing is called a blade. This part right here that kind of goes like your earlobe is called a lobe. They have veins, just like you have veins to move food around in their leaf, and we have blood and veins to move food around in ours. The margin is actually the edge, like the margin of your paper would be the edge that you don't write on. And this part right here is called a petiole. It's a little stem. we don't really care if you learn all of this technical terms, but we want you to at least be aware of them so that when you do them in science, maybe you've heard them before. On this side, these 4 are not the only leaf margins in the world. There are hundreds, if not thousands of them, and they all have a name. So there are whole books written about it. So this is kind of like a beginner's guide of the most common leaf margins. So instead of working in this journal, we're going to leave your big journal, and we all put a little tiny journal in. And the paper in it is thinner, so it's really good to do leaf rubbings. We put some Crayolas that we actually pulled off the paper because it's a better thing to do it sideways. On your leaves, if some of them are a little drier, it may make it easier. If you'll look at your leaf, look at the top and the bottom, feel of them. This leaf is real scratchy on the top and almost velvety on the bottom, but I can feel the veins a little bit clearer on this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, instead of it top side up, I'm going to put it where the veins will make more of an impression and imprint. Now when I do this, I'm actually going to take my finger, and to keep the leaf from moving, I put my finger right where the little petiole is. And all you do, can you see how this is actually very, very quickly doing the edges for me? I don't have to stop and draw it or trace it. It's got all of the veins. The midrib is showing up real darkly, and you can even see the little serrated edges on that. See how beautiful that print is? And it was quick. Only took a few seconds. Now you can keep your leaf and study it some more, or you can take some of your others. So this little journal is for rubbings. You can put it on a piece of bark and actually rub up against it, and look at the variety of bark for trees and plants as well. Just remember, try and get leaves that are a little bit stiffer, or maybe that you picked and you let dry a little bit. If they're very, very limp and wet, they'll probably put some juices on your paper. But we thought it would be fun to have this little mini journal just for rubbings and whatever else you would like to put in it.
Hey campers, what we're going to do right now is go on a haiku hike. And when we go on this hike, I want you to use your 5 senses. I want you to use your eyes. I want you to smell everything that you smell. You know, you're going to list that in your journal, jot down notes. So your 5 senses are your seeing, your hearing, what you hear. We hear some cars going by, but we also hear some birds talking to us. So what you hear, what you see, what you smell, what you can touch. And you know, there might be some things like a honeysuckle that you could taste, but I would get my parents' permission before I tasted anything, okay? So, but anyway, we're gonna do this haiku hike, and I call it the haiku hike because it's a poem. Now you can do other kinds of poems too, and poems do not have to rhyme. Making your poems have personification, where you have an inanimate object like the stick, you know, doing things that, you know, a human would do. The walking stick walked with me. That can't actually physically walk with me, but I am, you know, that is personification. So if you want to use your poetry tools, you know, absolutely get those out of your toolbox and use them. But if you don't want them to rhyme, that's okay too. So let's go on a haiku hike.
Water easy. Oh, ready?
Ready to go.
Ooh, look. Look at this part. I wonder if there's any seeds.
put that in my journal.
Is that where he's eating it? Might have some.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Try
that
it.
had. Oh yeah, look at there, look at there. There's a lot of seeds in there.
Dump them.
Yeah. All right.
More.
More.
You want to sow some? Get you a handful and we'll toss them.
Okay.
I want a little piece.
Okay.
Doesn't have. It's a darker color. That's the anhinga. Oh my goodness. Play with that there. Totally.
Look how long. Now he's a juvenile because his
I don't know.
different color.
No, that's what the anhinga is. See that light tan?
Oh.
And see how the beak is straight and then the dark. Man, I just went up. Look at him balancing.
That is so great. Oh my goodness.
Oh, he's about to. Oh, he got his balance. The end is in sight.
Welcome to the pond of the blue moon. Here we go. Okay, so we've been on our haiku hike and we've found all kinds of treasures. We've decided to sit here on the patio and write about the things that we saw. One of the things that I saw before I saw the turtle shell was a snake slithering through it. It was not very long. It was a ribbon snake. It was about this long. And so my haiku included that snake. So here we go. A snake slithered quick through the abandoned white shell. Treasures in the woods. So haikus do not rhyme. They have the 5-7-5 pattern, and you can write other poems besides just haiku. Hey campers, we've wrapped up day 3 here at Shangri for our eco camp, and I want you to notice that we're in front of the children's garden. We're in the back of the children's garden, and behind me we have some birdhouses. I wanted to draw your attention to those birdhouses because that's another thing that Mr. Stark collected. He loved to have great big birdhouses, and these are gorgeous. I'm going to show you that. So now we're going to do our challenge, right? Okay, so we're going to do our challenge. The first thing that I want to challenge you to do is to get a string and do a nature's square foot. It can be in your backyard, and you could even do it at different seasons. Like do it this summer, but then in the fall when all the leaves start falling, you may want to do it again then and do the same spot. So that would be kind of cool to compare that same spot each time. But in the drop box below our link here, you can find a list of books, and these are some really great books. It's called One Small Square. They're excellent books that tell you all about, looking in that small square and all the animals and the critters and the plant life that you can find in that one small square. So another challenge that we're going to do, want to challenge you, is to go on a scavenger hunt. So in your journal, we taped in our scavenger hunt, and we have some things here listed, and do it with do it with somebody or do it by yourself. And if you want to add to it, you can do that too. So you can do one challenge or the other, or do both. And remember, we miss you. We're proud of you. Stay curious.
Bye.